Lights on. It's time again. "20 years. We create dream cars, generation after generation. We push ourselves beyond all limits. We take victories and write history.
What a great championship.
Together, we go even further. Are you ready? Bring it home. It's dreams that have fueled us across 2 decades. Dreams that have inspired us, empowered us, and driven us to the next level. This is Porsche Carrera Cup Asia, driven by dreams. 2023 starts now.
欢迎大家收看亚洲保时捷卡雷拉杯2023年赛季的直播现场，我是本次赛季的主持人 Sammy。现在我们就身处在亚洲最经典赛道之一——马来西亚雪邦国际赛道，即将开启亚洲保时捷卡雷拉杯20周年的第一门赛事。Good evening and welcome back to Porsche Carrera Cup Asia 2023. My name is Sammy and I'll be your host this season as we celebrate 20 years of high-speed thrills across a selection of Asia's best circuits, starting right here in Sepang. And together with me, we have our pit reporter, Steve Dawson.
Sammy, very difficult conditions for our drivers this weekend. They qualified in bright, hot conditions. And then afterwards, torrential rain. It's very wet here in Sepang, slippery underfoot. And that causes a big problem for the drivers. It's going to be nighttime soon as well, so we're under the lights here at the Sepang International Circuit. Watch out for Florian Latour, our pole sitter. He's 9/10 of a second ahead of his nearest rival, so that should give him a great opportunity for a good start to the season. Watch out also for Eric Kwong, our leading amateur driver. He's got 3 Pro-Am drivers immediately behind him. That's the buffer he's got between himself and his nearest rival. He's also got a pro driver ahead of him in P8, so if he can get a good start, a really good opportunity for him to put the cat among the pigeons. Sammy, this one should be an awful lot of fun.
Yes, that's right. The competition is already fierce even before the race has begun. So stay tuned and remember to follow us at our official website at carreracupasia.com. And with that, let's pass the camera back to our commentator.
Sammy, thank you, Steve. 2 new additions to Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. We've got some new drivers as well that we'll take you through in the course of the first couple of races this weekend. Some things are new, some things stay the same. The cars are still 992 Carrera Cup cars with that gloriously sonorous flat 6 4-litre normally aspirated engine, 510 PS. That's 5 or 7-ish horsepower. Still Michelin tyres, and there'll be a choice to make here between wets and slicks after the rain that we had earlier on. Qualification was in absolutely glorious sunshine, but it looks really slick and slippery to me. And as far as mixing the old with the new, well, we start the 20th anniversary season of Carrera Cup Asia, where Porsche Carrera Cup Asia started 20 years ago here at Sepang. Let's get down the grid.
Thank you, commentators. So joining me on track this evening, we have the Managing Director of Porsche Motorsport Asia Pacific, Mr. Alexandre Gibault. So good evening, Alex.
Good evening. Good evening, and good evening to everyone here. Yeah,
yes.
Very happy to be here.
I bet you're very happy to be back in the Carrera Cup season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's great. It's a special year for Carrera Cup this year. It's the 20th season of the championship. And it's pretty emotional because 20 years ago, the first start of a Carrera Cup race was in Sepang. And 20 years later, we are here stronger than ever. So very happy and very excited to be here.
Yes, I can tell from his smiles. He's very, very proud of this series. So, Alex, can you tell us the main highlights of this year's season?
Well, I think this year, every race will be a highlight. It's a 20 years of celebration of racing, 20 years of motorsport development in the region. We will race here, of course, here in Malaysia, in Thailand, in Korea, in Japan, in Singapore. It's our comeback with Formula One, and with a big finale in our hometown in Shanghai. So it's going to be, I think, pretty amazing and pretty sensational season ahead of us.
So it seems like we're definitely in for a treat this season. So Alex, many thanks for joining us here today. So with the race going to begin soon, I'm going to pass it back to our commentators, and I'll see you all after the race.
So the grids has got a 10-minute board up. That gives us an opportunity then to just give you a little overview of what's happening. As Alex Gibaud there said, he's back as well and looking very well, wasn't he? Looking lean and mean for the new season. He will have his eye also on the FIA WEC at Spa this weekend, where Chinese driver Yifei Ye is driving for Hertz Team Jota in a Porsche 963, the first Chinese driver to be representing that country in the FIA WEC top class, and that means he's going for a win at Le Mans in June. And he is a Porsche Motorsport Asia Pacific selected driver. I suppose in some ways that's what all of these drivers will be looking towards as they're ready to go this evening. 35% chance of rain, that's 65% of staying dry. I like to be a sort of glass half full type of person. It's 31 Celsius here in the air, and the bad weather that was here this afternoon seems to have blown over. But the track temperature, which was 51 Celsius during qualifying, well, Michelin now tell us it's dropped to 28C. Now, that's good news in some respects for the tyre engineers. They won't have to have all their tables out. But it does mean that as that sun is dropping down over the horizon, that temperature is going to plummet. So getting your starting temperatures right and deciding whether it's slicks or wets, that's going to be very important. Florian Latour for Meidong Racing takes pole position at the head of all the pros. Welcome back to Chris van der Drift and Martin Raginger on row 2. Nazim Asman and Bajin Long. Bajin Long back from last year in Pro-Am. Joby 1 on the inside of row 8 with Gao Yujie. And also returning, going after the championship in Am, Eric Kwong is in 9th position, and he is on pole for the Am category. Remember, the cars are the same. It is the drivers that decide, or the driver's experience that decides which class they go into. Welcome back, Zhu Xiao, in the R&B Racing number 25 car. Jackie Wu never qualifies brilliantly well, but loves racing. He'll come up through the field. Christian Chat is towards the back, and the number 5, one of our newcomers for R&B Racing, Wu Jiaxin. Cars still on their jacks at the front. Let's go at the pole sitter.
I'm in P1 with Florian Latour. Florian, you qualified 9/10 of a second ahead of your nearest rival. Was that kind of performance expected?
Not really, it's all the time first qualifying. You don't really know the pace of each one, but for sure the team did an amazing job. We put everything together. But now for the race is completely different. So especially with the condition like this, everything can happen. So
you've got last year's runner-up right alongside you to your left. What's the strategy for the first corner?
The strategy is to adapt as much as you can on the track condition, and after we'll see what happens. But for sure the condition of the track will be more important than the start or whatever.
And speaking of track condition, it's a little bit slippery, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still wet, and I think most of the guys are with slick tires. So as I say, just everything can happen, and just be focused and try to put everything together without any mistakes.
Should be fun. Drive safely. Back to you.
Thanks, Dave. So 21 cars on the grid. He's going to hustle down to 9th position, which he'll doesn't have to go that far. That's our Am pole sitter. He needs to find Bajin Long, our Pro-Am leader. That's in 6th position for Zhentong Auto in the number 7/18. Some new colours to get used to as well for me and for everyone else. The Toro cars are still in their grey and dark red, so that's good news. Eric Zhang in the 77 being one of those drivers, and Steve has made his way down to Ba Junlong for Zhengtong Auto in 6th position as the 5-minute board goes up.
Bao Junlong is with me. He's in P6. Only 1/10 of a second quicker than your immediate rival, but he's behind you. Is that going to make a difference?
Not easy. Today I drive the GT3 R and then drive the Cup car, so a little bit confusing.
You have one of the pro drivers behind you. How long do you think you can stay ahead? How long do you think you can stay ahead?
I take it easy.
Slippery underfoot. Are you concerned about the track conditions?
Yeah, sure. In the first 3 laps, I think we should very, very, very carefully. Yeah.
Good luck. Drive safely.
Thank you.
Back to you in comms.
Red and white 7:18 for Ba Junlong for Porsche Beijing Central and Golden Port. There is again this year a dealer championship, very prestigious and very much sought after by the variety of dealers that we have in the 21 field. So we have 6 pros, we have 6 pro-ams, and the rest of the field made up by the ams. 8 pro-ams. See, there must be one more than that somewhere. Let's go to our AM poll center.
Eric Kwong is with me, possibly the performance of the qualifying round. Were you expecting to be so quick, Eric?
I didn't expect that much, but I did my best. Yeah.
The problem now is you qualified in dry, bright conditions. Now it's going to be dark and greasy underfoot. Are you worried?
Well, yeah, it's quite tricky this time. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a gamble. Hopefully it's not raining and then the track gets drier and then we can go as smooth as we can.
Good luck, drive safely. Back to you guys.
New colour scheme for, thanks Steve. New colour scheme for Eric as well this year, as the Kiddie World car is now, rather than the multicoloured splatter, is now pink with black spots. So we'll still be able to pick it out, even in the gathering darkness. We do have lights here at Sepang. As ever, this is a time or lap certain race with whoever comes the quickest. 30 minutes or 16 laps is the number that you need to keep a look at. If you are following along across the globe, livetiming.getraceresults.com, and you can see what I've got here in the Global Broadcast Centre. So Eric leading the AM drivers with the green numbers. The pro drivers have and the pro AMs, white or gold I suppose you call it, have the blue numbers. It's just over 3.5 miles, 5.5 kilometres, 15 corners for Sepang International Circuit. We are on the Grand Prix loop. After the first corner, the next best overtaking manoeuvre is down at the right-angled right-hander at turn 4, braking at 9, uphill into 10, and then into the final corner between the south and north grandstand, that iconic shot. There's another one. There has been quite a significant resurfacing of most of the southern loop, actually. You can run the 2 parts of the circuit absolutely independently. Now, how that will stand up, will it be more grippy or less grippy? Honestly, don't know. And you can make up time if you are very committed through 5 and 6 through the S's there. Well, the grid has been cleared of all non-essential personnel, only the people who are starting the cars. So white numbers on the pros, red numbers on the pro AMs, green numbers on the AMs. Let me get that right for you. Our chase vehicle, the Porsche Cayenne, at the back of the grid, waiting for our formation lap to get underway. One or 2 team members a little tardy getting off the grid there, and that might earn a reprimand from race control. Lights on all the cars because it is getting dark. The LED lights fitted a standard to these 992 Carrera Cup cars, so there should be no problem with visibility for the drivers. It will mean our camera operators have got an awful lot of light pointing at them at various parts of the circuit. The green lights are on for the formation lap at the beginning of the 20th anniversary season of Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. I'm John Heintorf and we're at Sepang. If you are just joining us, perfect timing as the cars roll off down to that super tight, more than 180-degree right-hander that falls down quite significantly, actually. This is not a dead flat circuit, and Florian Latour, the Frenchman for Dong Racing, will lead them off from Lou Kylo for Toro Racing on the outside, the front row. Chris van der Drift and Martin Ragginger for Team Shanghai Hyundai and Porsche Holding. Martin Ragginger knows how to win here. The German with all 3 victories in the Pro Class the last time we were here, although that is a few years ago. Both of those drivers coming back to the championship. Nazim Azman and Bao Jinlong on row number 5. On row number 3, 5 and 6. Zhou Wang is the best of the Pro-Am runners and has Gao Yujie for company on row number 4. Eric Kwong in P9 for Kitty World Racing is the best of the arms by some distance from Hong Yu should say for Team C and D. Then it's Eric Zhang, Francis Chia, Li Zhao, Adrian De Silva, EBM Giga Racing in 14th position. The number 25 is our lady racer RMP Racing's Zhu Jiao. Then another newcomer in the 22, Yang Ro Yu. 186 in 17th position is the Z-Speed Motorsport 180 excuse me, car. I was confused myself then. Jackie Yu, Jackie Wu, Shanghai Pudong, John Shen, Christian Chia, and finally at the back, Wu Jia Xin. So we are ready to get the 2023 season underway as the field led by Florian Latour and Dong Racing comes through the final. Left-handed hairpin underneath the end of the north and south grandstands where they come together. Pit lane entry just on driver's right before they enter that. Quite a steep camber there from the inside to the outside of the corners. Really difficult for motorcycles to get around there. Doesn't really help you in a car either. Great start for both of these races this weekend. And Latour has already pulled up. Frenchman with a 1 lap average of 9/10 of a second in qualifying earlier today, but conditions were very, very different from what we have now. Waiting for the green flag at the back of the grid. Last car pulls into position. That's the RMP Racing number 5. There's the green flag. The 20th anniversary season of Porsche Carrera Cup Asia 2023's championship is underway as the red lights go out. Good start by both of the front row drivers. It's even Stevens going down maybe the outside of the front row, and Lou Kylo has just got the advantage. He pulls across to the left-hand side of the track to try and get the run round the pole man. He snows to his Porsche ahead, and he'll get the left-hander at the bottom of the hill. This would be a super manoeuvre if he pulls it off. Last year's championship runner-up has played a blinder and takes the lead. Well, if that's the start of the season, and that's what we can expect for the rest of the year, it's going to be a cracker, and that was only at the first corner. Side by side, Luke Hello for Toro Racing, the number 99 car, the dark red and grey car, into the lead. We're being pressed by the blue and white Maidong Racing, number 11, and Florian Latour at the front of the field as they head round to the eastern side of the circuit through the S's at turns 5 and 6. What an aggressive manoeuvre from the experienced Luke Ailou. Still that battle goes on. Luke Ailou just a little bit wide at the exit of turn number 8, heading up to the outbraking area into turn 9, and goes to the inside, the leader there. Long straight into a uphill left-hander, excellent overtaking manoeuvre, but repelled by the Toro Racing car in that chrome dark red. Oh, and Latour off the racing surface there with the left-hand Michelin's way over the curb, but he's got some grip there and tries around the outside, but once again goes a tiny little bit wide through turn 12, now into 13 and 14 before coming onto the straight. The final corner, different lines from the front two cars, and a spin in the middle of the track. Now, is that Bajin Long? It's one of the red and white cars for sure. We'll see who drops down to the back of the field at the end of the first lap of 2023. In the darkness here, from the outside of the front row, Luke Ailou goes through from Florian Latour. Should be Chris van der Drift, I think, who comes. No, it's Ragging has come through in third. Then van der Drift, then Hung Shuzhe, then Gajue, Nazim, and of the field. So it was, I think, Bajin Long who went around. Eric Kwong's dropped some faces, as is Eric Zhang in the 23 and 77 car, respectively. Also, the 188's gone back a few places as well. I wonder if that was the spinner. That shows us orange, to be honest, on my entry list. I thought it was a red and white car, but these lights could be playing some tricks on my old eyes. Jackie Wu, given all of that avoidance that had to go on as they were coming through turn 14 for the first time. Now, it was way further up the field. So it was, Team Jebsen car just, I think, clipping the spinning machine. Was that Eric Zander? No, it has to have been. It has to have been one of the leading cars that went around there. So the leaders are still on it. What a good start as well by the number 83 Team C and D of Hong Shuzhe. Up into 5th position for the leading Pro-Am driver. 12th position, by the way, as the leaders try to go side by side in the final corner. Do go side by side in the final corner. I'll give you the AM rundown in a second. But still, Luke Ailou leads out down towards the first corner. Has he got enough of a gap back to Florian Latour in second? I think he might have here. So best of the AM drivers in 12th. Adrian De Silva has picked his way through the carnage. Shobi Wong also dropping down through the field a wee bit as the cars go through this time. Martin Ragginger has the fastest lap in third position as he tries to chase down the leaders. He's about a second and a half away. But in fairness, this pair at the front do not seem to be slowing each other down that much. Toro Racing then from Maidong Racing, from Porsche Holding, Team Shanghai Hyundai, Team C&D. All teams we've been talking about for a number of years in the Porsche Carrera Cup. Some of the drivers' names are different from last year. Great to have the international drivers back as well, as the 2023 Porsche Carrera Cup Asia Championship spreads its wings to become once again a Pan-Asian Championship, kicking off this weekend at Sepang. And on the weekend of the 28th and 29th of October, my birthday weekend, that actually, in Porsche Asia Pacific's home circuit, Shanghai, for the season finale. And if this championship goes to form anything like last year, we could end up still deciding championships at that very last racing weekend. Side by side again for the lead, and what a beautiful manoeuvre for the blue, black and silver Maidong Auto car. Latour goes through into the lead, but he's drifted slightly wide. And now Lucalo is alongside. Here comes Martin Ragginger as well into the picture as they go into the final corner at turn 15. The left-hander under the shadow of the end of the grandstand. But from the outside, which turns to the inside, which turns into the lead for our pole sitter, Florian Latour, back out in front with 3 laps completed. Has to defend down into turn 1. Chris van der Drift in 4th position in the lighter coloured Porsche. In the background going into turn 1, has the fastest lap of the race. And we have a quartet battling for the lead. Now is that a little bit of a gap being established by the Frenchman, Florian Latour. And into the gravel. Oh dear. I think that's Jackie Wu. He was at the back of the field. The 4-way flashes are on. We could get the safety car here. I think that's at the final corner, turn 15. It seems to me he's ran on a little bit long. Get confirmation from that, but that's what it looked like to me. The leaders are still racing for the moment. Coming into turn 9, the uphill left-hander. Now, what happened to Jackie? Yeah, lost it on the brakes going into turn 15. Bouncing across the gravel, couldn't keep the momentum going. The gravel, which is very wet from the thunderstorm that we had earlier on, does its job and stops the car very quickly. But that 992 Carrera Cup car is buried up to its axles. Is going absolutely nowhere for Jackie Wu. He'll be very, very disappointed. At the end of the start-finish straight, wearing the rainbow colours of the Porsche 75th anniversary. That's 75 glorious years, 3/4 of a century of Porsche road-going automobiles. Also, 60 years this year for the Porsche 911. Imagine just 15 years after Dr. Ferdinand Porsche built his first road car, the 911 was born. And with it, a legend. A legend that continues through to Type 992 today. And if you're fortunate enough to get behind the wheel of any 911 down through the years, you will know why I have used the word legend for that motor car. So our leading car will pick up the number 11 of Florian Latour. Safety car is out. Now we'll have to keep an eye open on the time here with 9 laps to go. We've got Yeah, it was indeed Bajin Long at turn 14 on that first lap, and it was contact between the 718 Zhantong Auto car and Martin Ragginger, Porsche Holding. Martin lost a position, which he's now gained back. He's back up into third, but that's under investigation. Also under investigation, the start from the pole sitter. My goodness, and he's back in the lead now. So was there a suggestion there of a jump start? Didn't see it myself. But really fantastic getaway by Luke Kailo. Kailo making the outside into the inside by the time he got to turn 2, was fairly belligerent and hung on to that line. Not an easy thing to do when it's so damp and slippery. But he pulled that one off absolutely perfectly well. By the way, Bajin Long back up to 8th position in the 718 for Zhantong Auto. Safety car, boards, yellow flashing lights and yellow wave flags under the lights here at Sepang. And our first intervention and neutralisation of the season, with the safety car on track for Jackie Wu's car, the Shanghai Pudong entered machine in the gravel at turn 15. Now, some of the drivers who opted for Michelin wets quite clearly seeking out the wetter part of the circuit here. I think that's the Team Jebsen car that was doing that, of Gao Yuzhe, number 55. Also, the C and D Racing in Pro-Am 83, red, white and blue car, smashing new livery for Hong Shenzhen. Even behind the safety car, these flat sixes sound absolutely phenomenal, don't they? So we burn another lap behind the safety car. I'm keeping an eye on the time, because it is 13 laps or 30 minutes, whichever comes quickest. 718, which has been around. Bao Xinlong sitting in 8th position and 2nd in the Pro-Am category. He's got the number 55 between himself. That's Gao Yuzhe in the Jebsen car, blue and white Jebsen car. Championship winning team from 2 seasons ago, Team Jebsen, of course. With this year, Yong Shenzhe behind the Gao Yuzhe behind the wheel, excuse me. 7th position for that car. Now, somebody off the back of the field there is Li Chao, just allowed a little bit of a gap to develop. That's Bajin Long ahead of him. Needs to be, I think, a wee bit closer than that, particularly if we're going to come back to green. Red flag. Red flag has come out, despite the best efforts of our track marshals. Jackie Wu's car has not been able to have been removed from the gravel. The race has been suspended with 8 laps of the 13 to go. Red flags all around the circuit, so the drivers will slow down behind the safety car, as they already are, and they will form up on the starting grid, which becomes a parc ferme, and that means you can't touch the vehicles. What a shame. What a shame for the first round of the season. John Shen for Modern Motorsport in that very distinctive blackened, almost flame colour scheme. So down to the scene of the incident where Jackie is in the gravel at the final corner. You just see his headlights pointing in the wrong direction and should come to a stop on the start line, and that's exactly what the safety car is doing. We'll pull up gently, red lights are on. So let's quickly run down the positions as they stand. Florian Latour leads in pro and overall from in second place, the number 99 Lo Kylo. Martin Raginger in third, Chris van der Drift in the top six, made up by Nazim Asman and Shidze. In it was Adrian De Silva. However, I reckon now it is the number 16 of John Shen who nipped by just before the red flag came out. Just before the yellow flag came out, rather, for Jackie Wu. And in fact, following him through, it's a comeback drive for the number 188 Z-Speed car of Li Xuanyu. Yeah. Unfortunately, Jackie Wu's car too heavily buried to even be able to tow it out. I think it's going to have to be taken out with some kind of crane. They've got a Land Rover here, 4x4, with a tow on it. I'm not sure it'll tow out backwards with the engine and the splitter at the back, providing what is effectively a big snow plough there. And that might be a more difficult tow. Maybe would have been better to try and tow it from the front or lift it. But certainly Race Control taking the view, and I think rightly so, that in these slippery conditions they did not want to put any marshals in harm's way, even behind the safety car. Now you'll note that the drivers have not got out of the car, though one or two have opened the doors. It's still fairly toasty and certainly very humid here. Florian Latour and Lo Kylo sharing the lead. They're the two drivers who have led this race. So a couple of laps behind the safety car before the red flag has come out. Now the teams are gathering in case they get the go-ahead to move on to the grid. I wonder if one or two drivers who are on the wets are hoping that they might get a tyre change for free here. Now, if this was Formula One, of course, that would be allowed, but parc fermé regulations differ from series to series, although the teams are coming out with their tyre trolleys, so maybe an opportunity here to get those drivers off the wets. We saw one or two of them coming out onto the damper parts of the circuit. Let's head down to Steve, who can possibly give us some more news.
Yeah, I'm right alongside where they're about to restart. What a tragedy to have a safety car after all of that excitement, neck and neck racing from our P1 and P2 drivers. They're right alongside me here, about, 20 meters away. They're going to start in a linear lineup, so not in formation as they did at the beginning of the race. And let's see if we can have the same kind of excitement that we had before this safety car took place, because we had two prolonged episodes, didn't we, with the two leaders side by side. Tremendous action. Latour losing his position from pole position and then regaining it a couple of laps later on. We've had a little bit of action at the back. One driver's lost his place and is on the gravel, and that was surely the reason for the safety car here today. But hopefully we'll get some action again very soon, and hopefully more side-to-side racing. Back to you in comms.
Jackie Wu, the driver who locked up the rears coming into turn 15. Safety car procedure under investigation, and also just trying to see if anything's come of that investigation on the start for Latour from pole position. That was being looked at, and the incident, of course, between the 718 of Bajinlong and Martin Raginger. Just a simple lock up on maybe on the down change for Jackie Wu as he took the Shanghai Pudong number 69 into turn 15. He stayed in the car expectantly, and the hard-working marshals with a combination of four-wheel drive and all marshal pushing have managed to get that car out of the gravel. Now, he's dropped a couple of laps, but I think he might be able to continue. And the teams have been allowed onto the grid with the tyre trolleys. Interesting. Very interesting. Now, here's a real conundrum for the drivers who started on slicks. You only get six tyres for the weekend, so you can't have a full new set for each race. So if you started on a new set for the race, what do you do now when there's people behind you who are likely to have a brand new set of slicks being bolted on? Tough one. 10 minutes I'm hearing from race control, 10 minutes to restart. Team Jebsen number 55, just opening the door and having a bit of a wiggle to get the air in. Now, as yet, the teams have not been cleared to do any work on the cars. I can see everybody standing by, but they're not even touching the cars. There's one or two people with blowers, like down at the 718, the recovering Bajinlong, the Shengtong Auto in the Pro-Am category, and sitting second in that class at the moment. So there's a blower going in through his door, but the team's being very circumspect about even pushing the door open or holding it open. Team Better Life, Pro-Am leader, Pro-Am third position for Li Chao. Right, I now hear wheel guns. So that's Trans-China Automotive deciding they're going to change the tyres on the 21 car of Francis Chia. Interesting. Almost better colours, isn't it? Transformers. Right, that's interesting. So that's wets coming off and Michelin slicks going on. Clearly see the treaded tyres on that car. Behind Francis is Jobuan for Porsche Racing Central and Golden Pot, another one of the Pro-Am runners. Another yellow and black car with a bit of GT silver on the black. Then it's the Toro Racing machine of Ericsson, Dan, 77. He's got the door open. Now he's got a set of wets, brand new wets on the tyre trolley next to him, but they're not being offered at the moment. Then John Shen in the brilliantly liveried number 16 Modena Motorsports car, which is the black and flames, really, I think you've got to call that. He's one of our AM competitors, and in fact he's leading the AM at the moment, ahead of the 188 Z Speed, the black and grey and white car. And again, we're getting a leaf blower and some water for the driver there. EBM Giga Racing, Adrian De Silva, who was leading in AM in the blue and black and white checkered and stripy car. Carneva Auto Spa, supported machine. Another one of the AM drivers. Behind that is another R&B racing car, mostly white again with that very lovely chrome red on it. That is our only lady racer in the field, which is Zhu Jiao. PD Group pink, chrome pink and white. for the number 22. One of the cars that is run by Absolute Racing, who have their home circuit at their home base at Shanghai, number 22. Then R&B Racing's Wu Jiaxin. Then a Kiddie World Racing car. So how did Eric get all the way back down there in the AM category? He must have been avoiding that schmozzle that we saw at turn 14 on the first lap. Black and pink car. As I said, it would be easy to spot, and it certainly was. And it's only Christian Chia who's behind for Open Road Racing in the multicoloured black, blue, white, red, etc. car. The Canadian flag on his car and his helmet. Right. Christian in the 88 car. It sounds like the grid is being cleared with about 4 minutes to go before the resumption. Christian Chia at the back there for Open Road Racing from Vancouver in Canada. He's taken a couple of years off from Carrera Cup Asia, but has raced in Carrera Cup Asia in various forms since 2010. I remember him from the Creventic 24-hour series back in 2016 or so, I would have thought. Saw him at the 24 Hours of Dubai as well in 15, if I remember rightly, in one of the front-wheel drive categories. Martin Ragginger, Porsche holding car, number 86. Well, Martin, what a career. Can barely fit it onto one page. Man from Austria. Enjoys swimming and cycling. Behind him, the number 8. Shanghai Hyundai. Another returning driver to the championship. The red, white and blue Shanghai Hyundai colours for Chris Vanderdrift from New Zealand. Carrera Cup from here in Asia, from 15 through to 18. TCR New Zealand champion 2 years ago. Then a semi-derby car. Number 17, Nazim Asman. Grid being cleared here as the marshals at turn 15 are clearing up some of the gravel. Jackie Wu's car, by the way, has gone behind the wall. It hasn't come back round onto the back of the grid. I think they'd probably be worried about Stones getting where Stones ought not to be. We're still showing 8 laps to go. Let's see if that changes. It's like Carrera S leading them round. And hearing from race control that start incident that was being looked at, our pole sitter Florian Latore has a 10-second penalty. My goodness. So in his haste to try and hold off Lokailo on the run down to turn 1, looks very much like Florian Latore has jumped the start, and the worst possible thing for him is starting behind the safety car again. It will be a single file start, as Steve mentioned earlier. Oh, goodness me. So somehow Florian's got to pull out 10 seconds to hold his position, and I'm not sure in the remaining laps he'll be able to do that. So we'll need to keep an eye on how far down that will drop him when we get to the checkered flag. And a revised number of laps remaining. There were 8 laps to go. It's now 6 laps to go. And we wait for the engines to refire. Still 1 or 2 people on the grid at the back of the line. All 20 cars now line astern. Engines have fired. Now, has anybody told Florian Latour? Maydong Racing. He's in trouble. He's in real trouble. So after a delay whilst the Jackie Wu number 69 Shanghai Pudong Porsche was removed from the turn 15 gravel, we are about to get underway behind the safety car. We have lost quite a bit of time and 2 laps from the opening round of the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia at this phenomenal circuit. Sepang under the lights, and this multicoloured field looking an absolute picture as we wait for our 75th anniversary liveried 911 safety car to pull away, which it does now, and Florian Latour leads them away with now 5 laps to go. It'll be 4 to go when they come round to the green flag, and Latour with an infraction on the start has a 10-second penalty to be added to his race time. It will be Latour who leads them around from, in second place, the dark reds and dark grey, number 99 of Toro Racing, and Lo Kailo. Martin Ragginger back up to third after losing a position or 2 at the start. He's under investigation as well for contact with Bajin Long at turn 14 on the first lap. Still waiting to hear if that has any implications. Chris van der Drift in 4th, the team Shanghai Honda. Then Nazim Azman, what a run that is, to 5th position, and picking up the top 6, the first of our Pro-Am drivers, Hong Shenzhe. Best of the AM drivers sits in 13th position, John Shen for Z-Speed Motorsports in the number 16. And he's got his nearest competition right behind him in the shape of the number 188. John Shen for Modena and Z-Speed behind in the 188. So the drivers trying to get some heat back into the Michelin tyres. I'm pretty certain that anyone that was on wets has gone to slicks. They must have been given clearance to do that. I'm rather surprised, but it could be seen as a safety move with the track drying out. Safety car will come back to the pit lane this time around. On the back straight now, the 75th Porsche 75th anniversary coloured 911 clears off from the field and heads to the pit lane. The field now under the control of Florian Latour for Maidong Racing. Through the final left-handed hairpin and under the shade of the grandstands, under the lights at Sepang, and we're racing again with 4 to go in the first round of Porsche Carrera Cup Asia 2023. Down towards the first corner. Already a little bit of a defensive shape being thrown by the leader. He's from the middle of the road. Though Kailo tries to do the outside manoeuvre again, can't get it done. Ragginger just a tad wide as he turned in. Further down the field, the 2 yellow and black cars side by side, and that looked to me as though Francis Chia went wide just a little bit. Should be one right in that fight as well. So, just a couple of laps after the end of this one. And remember that 10-second penalty for our leader as they head back down to complete another 3.5 miles. 5.5 kilometres. Leader in Pro-Am is in 6th position, and that is Hong Shizhe, the Team C and D, the 83 car. Gajue behind in the 55, the Team Jepson Blue and White car. That is the Pro car. But then Bajin Long, who was tipped into a spin, remember, on lap 1, and has recovered to 8th position and 2nd in class for the red and white. The chrome red and white 7-8 in, and he's right on the tailpipes of the Jepson car there as they head through turn 12. Leader on the back straight. But here's where the action is, and this is the battle for 6th and 7th position. Check that 7th and 8th position, my apologies, as they come out of turn 14. That was the scene of the crime as far as Bout was concerned on the first lap. It was Martin Ragginger who got into the rear quarter panel of his chrome red and white machine. Huge defensive manoeuvre by the blue and white team, Jepson number 55, but that takes the car wide on that camber we were talking about. And Bao Long goes up the position. Now that's good news for his overall position, better news for his class position, because now the car ahead is his class leader, Hongchun-Zhe. Fastest lap of the race last time around by Florian Latour. He needs to build a lead as much as he can, because at the moment 10 seconds would put him down in 7th position. And 6th in the pro class. And he has got a 10-second penalty. Oh, here's the battle for the lead of Pro Am. It's taken Bao Long no time at all to get alongside the 83 of Hongchun-Zhe. Hong in the team C&D Porsche with the blue front end. Oh, goes wide there as they come out of turn number 6 and head down towards the double challenges of 7 and 8. Now onto the short straight before turn 9. It's a left-handed uphill. Will we see the headlights? Bao Long pull out. He has a little bit, but I don't think he's close enough to get alongside. No, he's not. It still looks slippery out there. There's almost a sheen on the top of this new surface that's been laid all the way from turn 7 to the exit of turn 13. That's where the leaders are now, and it's where this battle for the Pro-Am lead is coming to right now. Turns through turn 12, now through 13 and 14. All still just on the new surface, ending about there. And for the moment, Bao Long has had to drop back. Hongchun-Zhe for Team C&G holding on to the position. It's another good lap for Florian Latour as he comes across the line. That was a second. Oh, the new fastest lap of the race by Lo Kai Lo, 2:12.676. So the battle for the lead. Lucas does not have to pass that blue and silver car ahead of him, because on adjusted timing, thanks to the penalty that Florian was assessed at the start, Florian actually now sitting in 5th position, effectively, behind Nazim Asman, and just ahead of the battle for the Pro-Am category. That's what that 10 seconds is going to do for him. So Lo Kai Lo, obviously realising he doesn't have to push on and try and pass the car ahead. I think the most car, the number 86. In the darkness on the far side of the circuit. Side-by-side action in the AM category, with Adrian De Silva losing a position there to Yang Ro-U. And I think that's 3rd in class there. Yes, it was 4th in class actually. Adrian had already lost a position to Jazin. So with just a lap to go, Florian Latour leads by a decreasing margin, but his 10-second penalty is going to take him out of the podium by some distance. Kiddie World Racing, pink and black car, having a bit of a scrap as well. That's Eric Kwong battling with the Z-Speed 188 car, the orange and white machine. And that is for 7th position. Well, Eric didn't start his campaign brilliantly last year. Had a season-long... Well, Eric's gone through now. So that is a change of position. But had a season-long battle in the Kiddie World Cup with his brother. His brother came through on top, John Shen, at the final corner, just going a wee bit wide as well. And that's Wu Jiaxin going through, side by side. John's got him back again. Defence to the inside. Last lap of the race for our leader, Florian Latorre, who was 9/10 ahead. He's just put the fastest lap in at 2:12.3. But again, well, not a good lap from Nazim Azman last time around. So that means now that Florian Latorre only drops down to 4th position. And it looks as well as though there's a decent battle going on behind him. This could be good news for him here, because Luke Hailo and Martin Ragginger are having a great scrap. Maybe they'll slow each other down. Chris van der Drift right in there as well. But with the 10 seconds... Oh, there's a hit! Accident, turn 9. And I don't think either of the cars are getting out of the gravel there. Oh, I'm afraid there's going to be some words there that look to have been a mistake. And I think it was Francis Chia, the Trans-China Automotive racing car, and Adrian De Silva. Checkered flag is out for the first round of the season, and Florian across the line first, but he will not win the race. Now the question is, did he build up a big enough lead to even get on the podium? He's got a 10-second penalty for a start infraction. So Lokailo for Toro Racing will be the winner, from Martin Ragginger in second for Porsche Holdings. And then 5.9 seconds back, Chris van der Drift will be on the podium. Then it will be Florian Latorre. So decent pace at the end of the race will mean Florian will only drop down to 4th overall in the Pro category. In the Pro-Am, right at the end there, Li Chao coming through for Team Better Life and will take the victory. And just waiting for the rest of the cars to come across the line. I think it's going to be the number 5, Wu Jiaxin, who has won it. Where did Xiaoping Wang get back to, by the way, as well, in Pro-Am? Yeah, Zhou got back up to 8th position, just behind Li Chao. So the two cars in the gravel at the end of the race, it was on the last lap, so nothing required from race control. Hong Shizhe and Bajin Long, the two cars in the gravel at the end. Oh. Bajin Long, the 718, who'd driven so well back up the field. And that's red, chrome red and white car, again axle deep. It did look like that was a slightly over-ambitious manoeuvre from the number 83. Blue and white car. I'm sure race control will be looking at that. Unfortunately, of course, they can't give the place back to Bajin Long. But that might result in a grid penalty for tomorrow's race. A penalty has also decided the top step of the podium. In fact, all 3 steps of the podium have been influenced by the penalty at the very start of the race. A mistake by Florian Latour that cost him 10 seconds added to his race time. And Toro Racing have obviously told Lo Kylo he celebrates. Porsche Carrera Cup Asia 2023, round 1 in the Pro class, goes to Toro Racing in the number 99. The runner-up from last year starts the 20th anniversary campaign off in style. Ahead of Martin Ragginger in second for Porsche Holding in the red, white and blue, Team Shanghai Hyundai number 8, Chris van der Drift, both coming back into the championship this year and celebrating their return with podium finishes. Martin Ragginger, who's been second more times than he probably want to remember in this championship, wants to go one better this year. One of the most successful drivers ever in the history of the 2 decades of this championship. Steve is moving into position. Lo Kylo is taking a breath, taking the congratulations of his team. He's got max points. Fastest lap, by the way, going to Florian Latour in 4th position, and the timing has just changed to reflect that. Fastest lap on their last lap for all of the top 3, and our winner, Lo Kylo.
Lo Kylo is our winner. How do you feel? You seem pretty happy.
Yeah, for a Chinese driver, I can do this. Yeah, it's so surprising. I'm very enjoying this race.
When did you find out that there was a 10-second penalty?
I don't know, actually. I just want to follow him and to see what I can do. But I think I did a good job, but not the best. I did my best also.
There was a couple of times when you were side by side. It was very exciting. What was it like to drive in that?
Yeah, I like it. I very enjoy it. So, yeah, it's pretty good. I very enjoy this race.
Enjoy the champagne. Well done.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, maybe they didn't tell him. They must have. The team must have told him. Toro Racing, experienced outfit. Finishing well inside the top 10 is the best of our Pro-Am drivers. Li Chao in 7th position, and the best of the AMs was indeed in 10th position. So all 3 class winners inside the top 10. It was the number 5 of Wu Jiaxun. We'll get a word with our 2 class winners in just a moment. Problems at the end for Hong Shunse and Bao Xinlong. Bao with a couple of incidents, one on lap 1 and one on the final lap, sort of bookended his first round not very well, to be honest. Jackie Wu ended up in the gravel, and Francis Chair dropped out as well. Here's our Pro-Am winner with
Li Chao is our Pro-Am winner. How does it feel, first of all?
I mean, it's a really big lucky, you know. So 1 and 2 just fighting, you know. In the last lap, they made a mistake, so I'm able to pass. So last time I in the Pro-Am podium, I still remember it's 2008 in Fuji, also in this condition. So maybe race lucky for me.
How did you get to know about what happened in front of you? Was it on the radio or could you see it?
No, I didn't see it. Just push, like how, you know, because like Eric Zhang, you know, Zhou Bihuang is really follow me, you know, try to attach me, but I'm able to hold them back and then pass the 2 guys in front. So it's really happy.
And then when you found out that you had a clear way to the checkered flag, were you screaming and whooping?
Actually, when I passed the check flag, I didn't realize I'm P1. So anyways, so happy.
All right,
so nice.
great evening. Enjoy the champagne. Well done.
Okay, thank you. Cheers.
Team Better Life then taking the first victory in Pro-Am for 2023. Zhou Beiwang and Eric Zhang for Toro in the 77 in 2nd and 3rd place. Now let's go to our AM winner, another top 10 finisher.
Wu Jiaxun is with me. How was it out there? It seems slippery underfoot.
Yeah, definitely. My first night race in Sepang. It didn't go quite well in the quali, so I started from the back of the starting grid. So some lucky for me, I still managed to make it to the first.
Come on, it must have been more than luck to make it from deep into the grid all the way through to the front.
Of course, thanks to I have a great team, great engineers, and great teammates all helping me. So lucky me.
Does this mean that you're in good shape for tomorrow's race? You're looking forward to that as well?
I think we might still be some short of some pace in dry condition compared to Eric, but we will try.
So praying for rain again?
Not really. But we can do anything.
Okay, well done. Good luck.
Thank you, mate.
Cheers. Jashin, R&B Racing then will be on the top step of the podium. Well, incident, accident, but entertainment as well, and some good driving and some rather over-ambitious overtaking manoeuvres as well. But ultimately, we have our three winners, and we'll have the podium ceremonies for you in a few moments' time. Let's take a look at the highlights in the evening as the 2023 championship started. Oh, now from that angle, I see why Latour got the penalty. He hadn't lined up right in his box. He wasn't out of his box, but he was rolling when the lights went out, and that was the 10-second penalty. Great start by Lo Kai Lo on the wrong side into the right-hander at turn 1, but that became the inside for the left-hander at turn 2. Got his elbows out. Then at turn 14, the first of the incidents, Martin Ragginger coming into contact with the 718 of Bao Xinlong. Great battles through the field as well for the class positions, but at the front of the field, side-by-side action was the order of the day. Safety car and ultimately a red flag when Jackie Wu lost it into turn number 15 on the brakes, end up in the gravel. After the start, the two drivers changed tyres and although it was Florian 10-second penalty hands the top step of the podium to Lo Kai Lo and Toro Racing, followed on by Martin Ragginger for Porsche Holding and Team Shanghai Hyundai's Chris van der Drift. That's your top three in round one. Well, I don't know how Steve is going to pick the best bits out of all of that, but we'll give him an opportunity.
Well, barely able to get our breath back after that marvellous race. And what a super start it was. From the off, Latour and Luo going side by side for a prolonged period, and eventually Luo managing to capture the lead. And we had a really exciting couple of laps, didn't we? Until Latour was able to challenge again. Once again, prolonged battle side by side, and Latour taking P1 again. It was only later on that we would discover that jump start, the 10-second penalty that would give the race to Luo. Then we had that safety car, which gave us all a chance to get our breath back, and it meant that really it was a race of two halves. Sort of before that happened, it was Jackie Wu that had some contact, spun off. There was a little bit of debris, we understand, on the track, and also that car in a bit of a precarious position at a fast corner. So safety first, make sure that we can ensure the driver's safety there, and it all started again behind the safety car. When it did, and in the meantime, Eric Kwong couldn't quite hold the wonderful position that he had in P9 as an amateur. He dropped a good 10 places or so by the end of the race. Once we resumed, a lot of the attention from the camera was quite rightly on what was going on with the Pro-Am drivers. Hong Shijie and Bao Zhilong having an absolutely supreme battle, so tight in fact that they ended up nudging each other off, and I can't wait to talk to one or both of them to get their view of exactly how that happened. That really opened the door for our winner in the Pro-Am, and what a super conclusion that was. You heard from him a moment ago. For the time being though, Latour registered a fastest lap, did have to swallow that penalty, but surely he'll have hopes for tomorrow's race. Back to you.
Yeah, even with that 10 seconds, Dave, he's down in, he's only dropped to 4th position. Such was the pace in that little 4-lap sprint, effectively, that we had at the end. 4-lap sprint, sorry, I'll be right, correct. So the formalities about to get underway for the first time of the season. If you haven't seen this before, it will be the 3 separate classes. And we'll have Sammy on duty at the podium in the darkness here at Sepang. Tomorrow, by the way, we do it all again, hopefully without the red flag. We are much earlier in the day tomorrow, so make sure you check the website, CarreraCupAsia.com, and let's head to the podium. Just a slight delay for the podium ceremonies. Get back to that in a moment. Let's head to the formalities here at Sepang.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podium presentation for round 1 of Porsche Carrera Cup Asia 2023 in Sepang. So now let's invite the winners of round 1 of Porsche Carrera Cup Asia 2023 in Sepang for the overall class. First, we would like to welcome on 3rd place driver number 8, Chris van der Drift from Team Shanghai Honda. Make some noise. And yes, and on 2nd place, we have driver number 86, Martin Rackinger from Porsche Holding. Make some noise. Yes, and of course, we have our winner for the overall class. We have number 99, Lo Kai Lo from Toro Racing. And with that, I'm happy to announce that the dealer trophy winner is Toro Racing. All right, please stand next to the champion. And I would like to invite our award presenter. We have our Vice President and CFO, Ms. Shen Tan-Tashter, to come present the award to our winners for the overall class. Ladies and gentlemen, please give them a big, big round of applause as they receive their trophy. And now we present the 2nd place trophy. And last but not least, to present it to the 3rd place. All right, I shall invite the award presenter, Ms. Shen, to join our drivers for a group photo. Yes, everyone can gather at the champion spot. All right, with big smiles, showing off your trophies. Look at the camera in front of you. You have 3 seconds. Yes, cheer for them, guys. Woo! All right, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for champagne, time for celebration! All right, there you have it. Congratulations again to all of our winners of the overall class.
So we'll quickly reset the podium here at Sepang for Pro-Am, but not before Lo Kai Lo. Toro Racing has the celebratory shots as we move on to our 2nd class. Really interesting at the end there to see that Pro-Am battle between Hung Shizhe and Bajinlong coming to grief in the gravel at turn 9. Let's go back to Sammy.
For the Pro-Am class. So allow me to welcome on 3rd place, we have number 77, Eric Zhang from Toro Racing. And on 2nd place, we have driver number 2, Zhou Bi Huang from Porsche Beijing Central and Golden Port. And of course, our winner of the Pro Pro M class, we have driver number 9, Li Chao from Team Better Life. Woo! And with that, I would like to invite the Chief Operating Officer, Mr. David Xiao, to present the winner trophy. Please give you a big round of applause to welcome Mr. David. Next, let's present the second place trophy. And to present the third place trophy. Woo! All right, may I invite Mr. David to join our winners on the stage for a group photo? All right, get ready with your big smiles, look in front of the camera, thumbs up, cheers for our Pro M class winners! And with that, thank you so much, Mr. David. Congratulations again to our Pro M class winners. It's time for champagne!
Shopehuang, very slow on the champagne uncorking. Second in the race, but very well behind getting that champagne uncorked. So now we have the AM category after all the excitement on the last lap in Pro Am. And a top 10 finish for our winner in this. Let's welcome them all onto the stage with Sammy as soon as we've got the podium reset here at Sepang. And a reminder, we'll be back tomorrow for round number 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to announce you the winners of the M class. So first, I would like to invite on third place, we have number 16, Johnson from Modena Motorsports. Yeah. And on second place, we have number 22, Yang Royu from BD Group. Make some noise! And of course, our winner of the M class, we have driver number 5, Wu Jiaxin from RMB Racing. Woo! And may I kindly invite the Vice President of Marketing, the Sky Chow, to present the awards to our M class winners. Let's present the trophy to the winner. Yeah, make some noise. And we are going to present the second place trophy. And lastly, the third place trophy. All right, so may I invite Mr. Sky to join our winners on the stage for a group photo. All right, so gentlemen, please look at the front with all the cameras. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Let's cheer again to winners of our M class. All right, thank you, Mr. Sky. And it is time for champagne.
Well, what a brilliant opening round. 9 drivers on the podium from 3 different classes here at Sepang. And we'll do it all again tomorrow. It's a daytime race tomorrow. Check Porsche Carrera Cup Asia.com for all the details and follow along on the Facebook page as well. Thanks to our hard-working camera operators and team here at the track. I'm John Hindorf. See you tomorrow.
Lights on. It's time again. "20 years. We create dream cars, generation after generation. We push ourselves beyond all limits. We take victories and write history.
Three-time champion. What a great championship.
Together, we go even further. Are you ready? Bring it. It's dreams that have fueled us across 2 decades.
Sliding through that mark. Brilliant racing.
It's dreams that have inspired us, empowered us, and driven us to the next level. This is Porsche Carrera Cup Asia, driven by dreams. 2023 starts now.